Colton, hey, it's your grandpa. I have been writing blogs for some of your older brothers and sisters and cousins and stuff for a while now. Haven't done very well at it, but I feel like I need to get started with yours now. You're a couple of weeks old, and there's been a lot of hospitalization and drama associated with you. So I kind of want to get started on your blog. Um, Reason I'm doing this is, I feel like um, me or anybody chronicling how your life got started lets you know how we see you. Um, it lets you know how much you're loved. Sometimes I know, and I plan on letting you guys all see this sometime after you're 18. I don't know, maybe after you're done from a mission or who knows what it is. Sometime when you're an adult. But I want you to see this background so that you just see what the journey was. Obviously, when you're 20, I'll be, just a bit older, and I'll probably just look like an old guy to you. Of course, that won't change much. But I just want you to kind of see through our eyes how your life began and see something that you would otherwise not be able to do. So I was taking your brothers and your sister Tara um, out to the swimming pool, and Tara said, my mommy has a baby in her tummy, and I hadn't heard anything like that, so I kind of passed it off. I thought maybe Tara was wishing because your mom had a miscarriage. I don't know, I'm going to say about a year before she got pregnant with you, and it was very hard on her. So I was thinking, okay, maybe Tara's wishing that mom had a baby in her tummy, and so I kind of blew it off. And then a couple of weeks later, we found out it was actually true. There was a lot of holding everybody's breath because we knew that with one miscarriage there could possibly be two. And last thing I wanted for your mom is to have, something like that happen again because, that was a real death to her, and it really affected her deeply. So that was actually my primary concern, to be honest, is I didn't want to have another miscarriage for her so that she had to deal with that again. And so we're bumping along happily, and then she goes in to an ultrasound, and maybe by the time you're 20 there'll be something so much cooler, but an ultrasound is basically sound waves, and usually the only purpose for an ultrasound, at least from my knowledge, was that they, had to see if you were a boy or a girl and just make sure you got two arms and two legs and a head and all that sort of thing. Turns out, excuse me, sneeze, that they can do a lot more than that now. I actually did a home inspection for the guy that sells those things, and he says it can do a lot of cool stuff. Well, it saved your life because in there they determined that your heart, and the best way I could understand it was that it was basically the electrical equivalent of a hot neutral reverse, which I understand because I do the home inspection thing. But then somebody else explained it. Hot neutral reverse, of course, is where they put the hot wire where the neutral is and vice versa. Then somebody else explained it that rather than a figure eight to the lungs and the body, that it was just two circles. And, that was a little easier to understand. And of course, that would have been immediately fatal upon your birth if that had gone undiscovered. And I'm thinking, how do you swap, blood vessels? I don't know if they swapped them inside the heart or outside the heart. I don't get that, but they did. And so they were prepared. Primary Children's, had done that thing before, and they definitely knew what they were doing. I'd always heard that they were impressive, but my goodness, they were impressive. So then we find out that you're going to have a baby. We do the ultrasound, um, and then it comes time where we find out if you've got if you were going to be a girl or a boy. And funny thing was, your family wanted a girl. Tara wanted a girl. Your brothers wanted a girl. And then you weren't a girl, but your mom quickly brought you around to being excited, or them around to being excited about them having a new baby brother. Tara, I don't know, she's such a princess that I don't know if she would have dealt well with having you be a baby sister. She likes her role, and I still call her baby. And, you know, your mom had actually uh, stopped doing that because Tara's not going to be, she is not the baby in the family now. You are. And, but I still call her baby. It's just, you know, that's what I call her. So anyway, she's having to adapt to the new role in a less difficult way because at least you're not the baby girl. Um, so you were born. Yeah, they had your mom deliver right up there in Salt Lake so that they could take you directly over to the I guess the NICU. And so you know, it wasn't a place where you could exactly go do regular visits. But I got up there, and it was hard for me to see um, all those needles in your body and I think they're called cannulas, but the little tubes inside your nose that goes down into your mouth and stuff hooked up to your forehead and your feet and your legs and that was just hard for me. I had trouble with that. Um, I thought, you know, here's a baby that would normally just need to be loved and, you know, need to cry and eat and poop. And there you are just laying on, you know, the little bed. Nobody can really touch you. Um, but, you know, having all those needs and having this big open hole. So what they did actually is they opened up your chest, and you've probably still got the scar, I would imagine, whenever you watch this. But I mean, and I guess this blood vessel was like the size of a hair. It's just crazy. Everything is so small. But they opened up your chest. They did whatever they did, and then they left your chest open. So you got this baby that is in, you know, such a medically abused state, and you want to love it. You know it needs to be loved, and all you can do is really touch. All I could do was really touch your head. And that was hard for me to see you be such a pincushion. I couldn't handle it for very long, and then I had to leave. Um, it just seems wrong that a child so small and so unaware of what's really happening had to go through that. But you did, and you did it well. Something I would have you be aware of too, like, and I guess your mom already deleted the Facebook conversation that we were having. She made a Facebook page, but before you were born, there was a Facebook message conversation where she talked about that, and I was going to go through that, just preparing to talk to you now, but apparently she's already deleted it. But what a pillar of strength, you know. She would put these regular updates up, and you know, when somebody has a baby, you know, most people are going to go, oh, you know, we feel bad for you, prayers, tears of strength, blah, blah, blah. And one of the responses was from my sister, who basically, oh, this has to be the hardest thing you've ever gone through, tears, prayers, blah, blah, blah. And your mom just kind of led the group, including me, and it was, for her, it was all about strength. It's like, here's what's happening. Things are going to, you know, you could just tell. She didn't, I don't know if she actually said, everything will be fine, but you knew from the way she was addressing the subject that she knew that everything would be fine. The confidence, it was so impressive to me, and she didn't get that from me. That is her own gift, and so I wanted to let you know that. While everybody else was kind of freaking out for her, she was a tower. And let's see, what else did I want to tell you? Okay, so in primary children's, Obviously, medicine sometimes has to get in its own way, but one of the things, of course, they had to be doing for you with your chest wide open for a number of days, and they just had a pad over it. So, of course, that's going to be extremely painful. So they were doping you up with pain medicine. But that caused another set of problems. I guess pain medicines prevents you from pooping. So your belly, you didn't poop, your belly started to get bloated. And of course, that has its own medical risks. And and then it was like, okay, when's he going to poop? And what can we do? And so Julie and I went up again, and I um, I gave you a blessing, and I didn't do it without with anybody else knowing. I just put my hand on your head, and there were a lot of people on the other side who used me as kind of a pipeline to deliver the gifts that they had for you, the healing gifts that they had for you. And the people around me didn't know that that's what I was doing at the time. They just saw me with my hand on your head. But there was a lot of gifts and power that went through my hands at that time. And then, of course, Julie brought her oils. Which one was it? Probably Digest then. And then, not too long after that, you pooped. And I don't think there's ever been a time when so many people were so excited about you taking a dump than that. It'll never happen again in your lifetime or any other lifetime that I hear about. But that was the huge big news when that happened. And then once you pooped, you were pretty much on the downhill from there. The cannulas started coming out of your nose. You stopped being a pincushion. They stopped the air from coming out or from being there on your nose. All the monitors, and your mom was actually able to hold you, and that was another huge moment for her. So here you are. You were able, finally to be brought home. You've got that scar in your chest, and I'm sure there's going to be regular reviews of that as you go through your life. But your life is a gift, Colton. Was given to you by your mom first, of course, but by a lot of people who are there to give you everything that we've got for you and everything that we have that we can give for you. Of course, every life is a gift, but yours is a lot more obvious to see. I hope that you can use that gift and make the most of your life and in some small way repay the people on the other side that gave you their gifts, and repay your mom for what she has done. Despite the fact that she didn't show a lot of stress to us, she's not the kind of person that shows it. So she, find 1,000 ways to repay the gift that she gave to you as well. Also feel like I need to tell you one more story. And this is my own little, I don't want to call it my weirdness, but maybe my gift that you can have as well when Lord's ready to give it to you. But you can be guided by the Spirit. And in my case, while I was there, I felt like there was a little girl who, I don't know if she was, in a nearby room. I never saw her. Cute little blondie, I'm going to say about 5 years old, who I just felt like she wanted me to find her mom and tell her that she loved her. And I don't know what the story was other than that. But I thought, okay, that's weird. How am I going to walk up to somebody who I've never met, who's never met me, and who's not going to trust me, blah, 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 and tell her that uh, her daughter, who I've also never met, loves her. But, you know, one thing that you need, you know, one of the most important things you need to understand as you're growing and as you're becoming adult is when you get those sorts of promptings, you can't blow them off. You have, you know, you have to respect those and find though, you know, you've got to honor those. If you do, you'll have more of them. If you do not, you'll have less of them. Obviously, a gift given that is not respected and opened and used is not going to be repeated again and again. So you know, the reason I'm telling this story is I failed. I went walking through this hospital on the way out, and I didn't see that person. I didn't really see anybody. There was 3 women that I walked past, and as I watched them, I noticed that one of them was a little bit emotional, and she stopped to take a drink, but I didn't know if that was the right person. And you know, nothing stopped. You know, it seemed awkward, so I didn't do it. And you know, and so now, you know, almost every other day, I pretty much think about that woman and think I failed her. Can you imagine how important it would be to that mom to have confirmation? You know, and again, I don't know if her daughter was living or dead or about to die or where she was, but it would have been huge for her, and I failed her. Moral of that story is when you get those promptings, obey them. And it will strengthen you, and it will be a huge service to others. And yeah, there's probably 1,000 other things that I could tell you, but this video's gone on long enough. I know that for anybody, a video of about 3 to 5 minutes is all anybody wants, and this is probably 15. But you know, you need to know that there are 1,000 people in your corner. And again, you know, when you're a teenager, often it seems like you're alone, and your mom and dad are yelling at you, your brothers and sisters are bugging you, your friends are annoying, and sometimes they're there for you and sometimes they're not. But you need to understand when you're in that place that you have a lot of people who love you. And whether it seems like that or not on any given single day, you have a lot of people who love you. And don't forget that. Don't let, you know, a single day or even a week or a year make you think that, you know, that bad period of time is who you are. Be the greatest person that you can be. Find out, you know, one of the things I'm working on actually is called Ikizai. It's a Japanese word for finding your purpose. The phrase that always comes to mind when I think of that is that the 2 greatest days in your life are the day that you're born and the day that you find out why. Find out, Colton, why you were born. And I would love to help you to achieve that purpose. For your first 20 years, your role is to go through all the proper motions, to go to school, to get good grades, to go on a mission, you know, find the right woman, marry her in the temple, treat her well, all of the obvious things, you know, saying your prayers, going to church. And when you go to church, don't just go and sit there and halfway listen. You can be instructed far more by the Spirit, by your guides, than by whoever is speaking. Know that no matter how bad the speaker may be perceived to be, if you're prepared to listen, you will get what you need on that day. And, you know, just be aware that listen means more than listening to the speaker. I love you, Colton. I look forward to spending a lot of time with you. I take your brothers and sisters swimming pretty much every Tuesday. I look forward to doing the same kind of thing with you. I love you. hang in there. Look forward to being your friend.